Hey there everybody, welcome back to another video here on my Steve K channel. So I'm trying something different on here. This is a new thing that's on like mobile phones and stuff, or smartphones as they call them. You can now do like live videos here on your phone, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to be doing this little thing on here to give this a go. I'm going to be reviewing a WWE pay-per-view from back in the day, actually make that WWF in that time. This is a review about the 2000 WWF Royal Rumble. Now, this was held on January 23rd, 2000. Now, this was around the time when I was watching wrestling a whole lot. And of course, they had so many people in the business here, most of them that are retired and stuff or doing other things. Like, for example, The Rock, who was pretty much the odds-on favorite to win the Royal Rumble. The Big Show, who is still with the WWE to this day. Then we got Triple H, who was not in the Royal Rumble, but he is still with them. He does his work. He's a COO, they call it. Then we have Kane as well, who was in the Rumble, who is not doing wrestling anymore. He's now in political stuff. He's whatever he's doing right now. But there's a lot of, others in this as well. I'll get to in a second, so here we go. The tagline for this, The Road to WrestleMania Begins. Now, this is also around the time when I took VHS tapes. I would buy them from Walmart and get like a 10-pack of them or whatever, and I would record every single pay-per-view. A lot of them I wish that I still had. Some of them got ruined in a flood and all that. And yeah, so I'm just looking at the comments that are popping up on here, but yeah, I used to get these tapes and stuff, and I would record every single pay-per-view, and I wish I had a lot of them still, because some of them got ruined to water damage, and some of them just got ate up in the VCR. I still have like a few of them, but not really like any from 2000. I have them, of course, on VHS and DVD. So here we go. Our first match. Well, we had like a little bit of some Sunday Night Heat going on, but I really did not watch any of that. Our commentators are Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. Your Spanish commentators, Carlos Cabrera and Hugo Sanovich, whatever. Your interviewers, Jonathan the Coach, and Michael Cole. Ring announcer, Howard Finkel. Then you have the WWF New York thing, like with people, like in New York that they used to do that little thing, if everybody remembers that. Linda McMahon was there. Your referees, Jack Doan, Earl Hebner, Jimmy Cordera, and Theodore Long. Chad Patton, Mike Sparks, and Tim White. So now, the pay-per-view begins, and our first matchup is Kurt Angle against a mystery opponent, supposedly. Now, Kurt Angle was just starting out around this time, and he is like going to be facing like a new opponent or some new person. Now again, this is held in New York, and people are already starting to get on like Kurt Angle, like they're saying some words, they're starting to chant, some of them are chanting ECW, I think, and then they're saying, Tazz, we want Tazz, we want Tazz, who is of course from ECW at that time, and again, this is held in New York. So, as Kurt Angle finishes his speech, the music starts and the crowd erupts into a huge ovation because they know that it is Tazz from ECW, and he makes his debut. Howard Finkel has a little issue with the microphone, and as he's introducing him, and as he comes to the ring, he introduces him, and the matchup begins. Tazz pretty much owned Kurt Angle in this matchup, and just pretty much like easily beat him. Yeah, Tazz pretty much just was, crazy on Kurt Angle, and just pretty much single-handedly won this matchup by putting Angle into the Tazz mission, and that pretty much made him tap out, and that was it. And that's your opening matchup. Pretty good opening match, a little short though, only like 3 minutes or so, but still, it was a pretty good matchup. Now we get into our second matchup. Now this one was one of my favorites of the night. I thought this one was very entertaining, and it was a good tag team matchup. This is the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, against the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, in a tag team tables matchup, where the object is you must put each opponent through a table. In other words, like if Bubba Ray puts Jeff through one and then Devon puts Matt through a table, they win the matchup. Or if they put both of them there, they win it. So this starts up with a whole lot of like high-flying moves from the Hardys, as there was one where Bubba Ray was like on a table, or Devon, whoever it was, I think it was Devon. Matt Hardy went for a leg drop, and Devon moved out of the way on the table, but Jeff Hardy tried to dive from the ropes, and that didn't work, and that still makes the matchup continue. It looked like it was going to end right there, but it didn't. So a lot of like back and forth stuff. Here's like a double suplex with the Hardy Boys against the Dudleys, but against Devon, I think, but they wound up moving the table out of the way and weren't able to like do the suplex there. But pretty much what happens is this: Bubba Ray and I believe Jeff were having a like a fight going up on the in the audience and stuff, and there's like 3 tables I said below. Bubba Ray is fighting with Jeff, and he keeps punching him back and forth, and all of a sudden he just loses it and goes right down to the table, and just like that. I mean, and then Jeff Hardy does his swanton bomb from the top and gets it right on Devon, I believe, and that gives him the win over the Dudley Boys. This matchup, I think, was really good, and I say that because this matchup was good. It was, a good tag team matchup between these two, and it was definitely a very good one. I'm not giving like a rating like out of 5 or anything like that, just a like what I'm saying, like, what I think of the matchup and thought how good it was, and there you go. Now, before we get into our next matchup, this next one was not a match, it was a contest thing. And this is the Miss Rumble swimsuit contest thing. And this features all the divas in there, like Ivory is the first one. Then we have Terry Runnels, Jacqueline, as they called her, or Jacqueline at that time. Luna Vachon, BB, Barbara Bush, and the women's champion, the Cat, or Miss Kitty, they called her. I think that's all of them, or unless I am missing somebody. I don't really think that I am, as I think that's all of them. Anyway, so we have our judges, like Andy Richter is one of them. Another person is the legendary Classy Freddie Blassie, the Fabulous Moolah, and a couple other people, and Jerry the King Lawler is the announcer. So, as they introduce the women, now they get into the part when they undress and show off their bikinis. Now, a lot of them, were, like the way that they did this is what happened pretty much. Ivory did hers, and then Terry pretty much had the coolest one. Jacqueline did hers. Luna did not, because she just said to Jerry Lawler that she will not take off her clothes and stuff. Then the Cat does hers, but she has bubble wrap around her for some reason. Yeah. But now as they're getting ready to like announce the winner and stuff, all of a sudden, here comes Mae Young. Mae Young, the former wrestler back in the day and the good friend of the Fabulous Moolah, comes out and has like a robe on and says, now this contest is not over, I'm still in this. And Jerry Lawler's like, well, I guess we have a late entry, and she says, everybody wants to see my puppies. So she does wind up doing that and shows it on television, and it has a censor thing logo as they're out, and Mark Henry comes out to cover her up. And as the thing is over, they announce the winner, and the winner of the thing is Mae Young, as she celebrates in victory, and her boobs are hanging out again, and the censor thing just pops up. Because I remember when I recorded this, and it was on there, I was like, oh my god. It was funny. Yep. So, That was the end of that, but that was, again, not a match. It was just a contest thing. The next matchup is our triple threat match for the undisputed Intercontinental Championship between the champion, Chris Jericho, and Chyna, who are actually champions. I think they were co-champions in this. And Hardcore Holly. These two have been having like a rivalry for the past weeks and stuff. So now they have a matchup here between Chris Jericho and Chyna and Hardcore Holly. Now, now bear with me on this, I did not pay attention to this matchup the whole entire time, but I did watch this. The matchup pretty much was a good matchup, and it ends with Chris Jericho pinning Chyna, I believe, to win the championship. So he is the undisputed Intercontinental Champion. Another good matchup, between these wrestlers and all that. I mean, good matchup. Yeah, even though I didn't really like watch a whole lot of it, excuse me, like I said. Okay, and now, but I said again, it was a good matchup. There was nothing to complain about it. There was, it was a good matchup. Excuse me. Alright, so our next matchup is our tag team matchup for the WWF Tag Team Championship. The winner of this matchup, this was at Armageddon in 1999. At Armageddon 1999, we had a tag team battle royal match to determine who will face the champions, whoever wins at Armageddon, at the Royal Rumble. So, the winners of the tag team battle royal were the Acolytes, Farouk and Bradshaw. So they faced the tag team champions at the Royal Rumble, and they turned out to be the New Age Outlaws. They faced the Rock and Sock Connection, which they wound up retaining. So, in this matchup, I was pretty much pulling for the Acolytes to win the championship, but they wound up not winning this matchup. The New Age Outlaws wound up winning from X-Pac, who came out and helped them by giving an X Factor, I believe, to either Farouk or Bradshaw. One of them that he did it to, I don't really remember. And that gives them the victory over the Acolytes. And there you go. And now that brings us up to the next matchup between Triple H, the WWF Champion, against Cactus Jack, or Mick Foley, a street fight for the WWF Championship. And by the way, the matchup with the Acolytes and the New Age Outlaws, it only lasted 2 minutes. Yeah, just 2 minutes and 39 seconds. It was a very short one, but it was just, rather very quick. Alright, so now, Triple H versus Cactus Jack for the WWF Championship in a street fight. Cactus Jack, who Mick Foley decided to go back to with his character, gets a shot at the WWF Championship, and this matchup was a really good match. This has so much stuff in there, like including the barbed wire 2x4, which Cactus Jack used, and not only that, we had thumbnails, or thumbtacks, that were in this. This matchup, had so much in it and stuff, and so much, craziness in it, but it still was a really good matchup. Triple H winds up winning the match by beating Cactus Jack with a pedigree onto the thumbtacks, which was kind of crazy, but yeah. He still, managed to get the win over him, but it was a really good match. It really was. Yeah, so Triple H winds up winning that match and retains, and there you go. And that leaves us to our main event, the Royal Rumble match, where one person will get a shot at the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 2000. So, of course, the odds-on favorite is The Rock. The Rock, who was in the hunt for the WWF Championship, is, again, just to say it again, the odds-on favorite to win. And there are so many people in this Royal Rumble, and a lot of people. There are only 2 people really in this matchup that were pretty much favored to win, and that were The Rock and The Big Show. Of course, we had a couple other people as well in this, We had one legend that appeared in there, or a returning person, that was Bob Backlund. He only lasted about 2 minutes, though, and he got eliminated by Chris Jericho. We had Edge, Gangrel, the British Bulldog, Crash Holly, Chyna, Farouk. Chyna made history in 1999 by becoming the first woman to enter the Royal Rumble. And we also had Val Venus, Prince Albert, Al Snow, the Road Dogg. The Rock came in at number 24. Billy Gunn, or Mr. Ass. The Big Show came in at 26. And Bradshaw, who was eliminated in 25 seconds by the Road Dogg and Billy Gunn because due to interference from the Mean Street Posse, Joey Gabbs, Pete Gas, and Rodney. Kane also came in at 28th, and The Godfather and X-Pac. Now, there were very, there were short eliminations in this. There were a few, like, Chyna was only in for 37 seconds because she was on the apron with Chris Jericho and got eliminated by somebody else. Farouk was eliminated in 18 seconds only, but due to interference once again from the Mean Street Posse. And there was also interference from Kai and Taka Michinoku, and what's his name, Funaki. So yeah, they kept interfering a few times. So here's what pretty much happened with the people left in the matchup. So it was down to the Big Show, The Rock, Kane, and X-Pac, I believe. So Kane winds up the Rock originally eliminated X-Pac, but the referees did not see it because they were trying to break up the fight with the Road Dogg and Mr. Ass on the outside with Kane. So, as Kane went under the bottom rope, so Kane puts a scoop and a slam on the Big Show, something we never seen a lot of times, but he gets a spinning heel kick from X-Pac and gets eliminated. So now, it's down to 3 as X-Pac gives a Bronco Buster to the Big Show, but the Big Show gets right up and picks up X-Pac in a gorilla press slam thing and just tosses him right out of the ring. So now it's down to The Rock and the Big Show. The Rock gives the Big Show the people's elbow, and now he picks up the Big Show, attempting to throw him over the top rope. Just looking at something. And the Big Show winds up stopping and choke slamming The Rock. So now he picks up The Rock, attempting to throw him out of the ring. So he runs and goes to the ropes and attempts to throw The Rock over, but The Rock grabs the ropes, and the Big Show falls over and is eliminated, and The Rock wins the whole thing. Just like that. And there you go, and that's the Royal Rumble. Now, not only that, the night after the Royal Rumble, there was controversy that The Rock's feet hit the floor when the Big Show was eliminated. However, that was true. They looked at the replay and saw when The Rock eliminated the Big Show, The Rock's feet on the floor did hit the floor before the Big Show did. But, of course, they would give it to The Rock because he was the odds-on favorite to win. And there you go. And that's about it. That's all the matchups for the Royal Rumble 2000. Yep, so now for a whole review of this thing, like an out of 10 rating as usual, my rating out of this for this Royal Rumble would be a 7.5. I give it a 7.5 well because the tag team matchup with the New Age Outlaws and the Acolytes was too short. It could have been like a little bit longer. The Triple H and Cactus Jack matchup was the second best match of the night. My number one best was the Hardy Boys against the Dudleys in the tag team table match. Then, of course, the Royal Rumble. Even though, it was pretty good and stuff, and I was glad that The Rock did win, but it still was a good Royal Rumble. Lots of people in there, and some of them that are Hall of Famers and stuff, and a lot of them that are, some of these people are, in the Hall of Fame, like I said, and there you go. And, of course, the Tazz versus Kurt Angle matchup in the beginning, which was a pretty good one, a good opener. And Jericho and Chyna against Hardcore Holly. Jericho against Chyna against Hardcore Holly. There you go. Yep. So again, 7.5 rating for this pay-per-view, and that's gonna do it right there. Excuse me. So that is going to wrap it up for this review of the Royal Rumble from 2000. I will eventually, when I can, I might have to watch it, read. I'll have to look at that pay-per-view, to, give my honest opinions. I have to look it over, but eventually I will. Okay, so that is going to do it for this video. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. If everybody else, has a review of this, they can comment below, their opinion. They can say, what they pretty much thought of it. Like, comment, and subscribe. As always, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And you all take care. And thanks for watching again. And thanks again.